That's a chunk of ice. I can hear them. These bees in this hive have been clustering down below all winter. And the last time I was around, I screwed things up a bit. I broke the propolis seals by putting plastic wrap around it, and I messed it up. And then they all came to the top. So I'm just here today just to see if they've come to the top, but not sure where that ice is coming from. Well, that's a big chunk of ice. There it is. Now that could have just blown in too. That could have been just melting snow, melting into the ice, and that melting into the hive. Because this hive stand, even though it's a really cool stand, it holds 2 hives, a couple of feet off the ground. It's not tilted, so if there's any moisture or water in this hive, it's not going to tilt out. And I just goofed when I put this. I should have tilted it when I set it up. But anyway, not the end of the world. And this is the hive. Oh yeah. Okay, we got a bee lying out here. So they're definitely clustered up top. You can see them coming up the top entrance. I'm going to just get my knees wet. Let's see what's going on down here. This is okay. It's pretty clear. They're definitely not using that bottom entrance, but that's okay. I might put a staple right there just to get that to stay there. Let's see if this bee is on the prowl, looking for trouble, or if it's just getting out for a poop. Oh, it just pooped. It's pooped. Oh, look at that. Just pooped right on me. Well, I bet let's see. Oh yeah, you can see right through the crack. See the crack on the other side? That's the rim. Not exactly a good seal. So, get back in there, buddy. You want to go back in? There you go. So today I just brought some bag of goodies. I got my bee hat. Got my smoker because I don't have my my spray bottle. I forgot my spray bottle was in the shed and it froze. So I've got some wood chips, and I've got this dried up sugar. It's just a big chunk of sugar. I got another bit of it down there, and I just brought that along just in case I can, in case the bees need it. But I don't think they do. Yeah, but this was just this hardened in the package that I had. It was a big, 20 kilogram package, and it just got hardened. So I said, well, good enough, Anyway, so I'm gonna just take a peek, and because I can still see that this is obviously not a sealed crack, I'll put some duct tape around it too. But this bubble wrap isn't hurting. I don't know if it's making any difference. Now, see, this side isn't. I think for this to work well, it should be tight against the hive. But anyway, we got some rabbit tracks. We got some guy, obviously, who's a contractor, clearing all this land over here. So there goes with the wilderness. We got some rabbit tracks, and this is where I had a hive over here. I think it was last winter, and it got totally buried in snow. But then maybe it was the winter before too, that I also had rats digging into the hive. It was pretty tangly, and that hive died. So these guys, I don't know what they're doing. I've got this hole drilled on the side, but I think now that I look at it, I would prefer to have it in the center, so that I might be able to pull it out and see if the bees are clustering there. You might not see them because they could still be behind the side of the frame, but yeah, something stinks. When you smell poop in the hive too, it's not good. And I think that's just the smell of dead bees I just scraped out. Anyhow, we're gonna just take a quick peek, just because we got a big storm coming, lots of rain and freezing rain, all this junk. So I might not be able to get at them for a while, so I'm just gonna take a quick look and see if they need anything. And I just pulled the top off, and you can see they're clustering up top. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna staple some. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna staple up that hole so they can't get above it. I put some mesh over the top of that. But I think I'm going to flip this inner cover upside down, because right now it's upside, what we normally call upside down. They don't have a top cover. They don't have a top entrance. They have. I gave them this, but I don't think they're going to use that for some reason. Just got a feeling. So I just stapled on that mesh there, and I've got little holes on the edge of my inner cover just for extra ventilation, and I can smell the alarm pheromone coming off these bees. These bees have always been defensive. They were cool all summer, but now that the winter's kicked in, they don't seem to be too happy. So they're definitely a little bit, antsy. If I had a cork, I could plug those holes up and keep them down. Yeah, so I might flip this upside down, but I might not. They don't seem happy. All right, I just took the top off of this hive, and I can see there's the sugar in there, and that's a brick of sugar, and I can see they're already eating that sugar. I'm going to try to just lift the top off and dump in some of this stuff. I don't have my smoker lit. I'm just going to dump that in there. I don't have my smoker lit, so we'll just see how it goes. Yeah, I'm going to light up my smoker because there they are down there. I could just drop the sugar right on top of them, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to get them out of the way. So I'm not exactly too happy about this. They really do seem to be clustering a bit too high and not going down low. Can't tell if they've got honey down below. I don't know. Anyway, but they're dry. That's cool. So this is my DE hive setup, and the only thing I don't have is this should be covered with mesh, and I thought I had some mesh with me, but I didn't. I thought this already had mesh on it, and I was wrong. So, but otherwise, this DE hive, it's basically this rim, upside down rim, and this box, which creates some dead air space, but a little bit of ventilation there. I gotta say, those bees are dry as bone, man. They're clustering high, and that's a different thing altogether. But yeah, they're dry. So that's pretty cool. If I had somebody else with me on a day like today with not a breath of wind and it's really not that cold, I would tear that hive apart. I'd set up a hive stand right next to this one, and I just with a bottom board, and I put that box, that top box where the bees are clustering, I'd put it over here, and then I'd tear this hive apart, and I'd take all the honey frames and put them on top of the hives, on top of the bees, because right now they're up in that top box, and I can tell they're not using that bottom at all. And sometimes the bees just don't have enough sense to go down. Once they go up, they don't have enough sense to come back down and eat their honey. But we'll see. Maybe they're fine. Okay, so let's see if I can do this without getting stung. So I gave them a bit of smoke just to drive them out of the way, and there they are. And you can see, I can see, there's still quite a bit of honey in that hive. So they're doing pretty good. I'm going to get out of the way. So that's okay. And now they have a top entrance. Just to give them a little extra, a big fat top entrance too, actually. This is a homemade bottom board, or homemade inner cover. So you can see there. So this is pretty good. This hive is looking okay. They've got a top entrance now, and I don't have mesh covering my top entrances this year. I've got it on the bottom, but not on the top, because I just don't think shrews can get this high unless the snow is, unless they're buried in snow. I don't think shrews are going to be able to hop up and get in there. So I'm not going to worry about that. I don't see any signs of shrews either. I know what shrew tracks look like. I know what shrew poop looks like, and I know what bees that have been eaten by shrews look like. And I don't see any of that happening around here. These bees were clustered down on the bottom for the longest time, and now they're coming up top, and they're mostly on this side of the hive. And they're really buzzing now because I smoked them and I disturbed them, and it's going to take some time to settle down. That's the one thing I hate about winter beekeeping. When the bees are so intent on just clustering and staying alive, whenever you do something that disturbs them and causes them to break cluster, they're burning through honey, they're burning through energy, and it really disrupts the flow of everything that they're doing. And so it can take them a while to recover for something like this. This is why I don't know. The less I do in the winter, the happier I am. And the funny thing is, like, most of the things that I've done to this hive this winter, I could have completely just ignored it. I think they don't need sugar right now. They've got plenty of honey up top. They're clustering way down below for the longest time until I did something to screw it up. And the only problem I had was a little bit of this 1/4-inch mesh. I had a little bit of clogged up dead bees happening down there, but there's a way to fix that too. What you do is you take basically you can take a pencil and stick it into the 1/4-inch mesh, a couple of those holes, and just slightly widen them. And it doesn't need to be. And it's not, the shrews. I don't think a shrew can get through it, but the bees can squeeze through it easier. And I think that's what I'm going to do from now on. But anyway, otherwise, this hive has been fantastic. Really, beautiful thing to behold when it works out well. And I'm reaching the point now with my beekeeping where I can usually tell how well they're going to do going into winter. Like I was 100% confident that this hive was in great shape going into winter, and it's in fabulous shape. It's in a really good shape. I think the cluster is probably like right here. I wish I had a hole drilled in that super right there so I could see if the cluster is there, but they're just basically clustering over here. There's still honey on this side of the hive, and up too, and probably down too. It's painted black. It's got some ventilation up top through a ventilation rim. I might have a bit too much ventilation here because I got this gigantic hole. That's a homemade inner cover, and it's a bit wonky on the sides of that hole. I might maybe plug that up a bit. I had a hole drilled in this super. I still do have a hole drilled in the super right here, but they're not using it, and the extra ventilation that they're getting out of that is probably nothing compared to what they're getting up here. So I just plug that up just to be safe. There is a bit of ice down there inside the hive. Now it's possible that ice came through that hole and water came down that hole like that and it just froze. That's possible, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Some people when they drill holes in their supers, they drill them like they have them in the rim. They got them on a slant so that water can't drip in. I guess so. I mean, it makes sense, but I've had plenty of hives like this with holes drilled straight in, and it wasn't a big deal. But I guess it depends on the weather. So anyway, this hive is in great shape. Not worried about it. I think I can easily leave them alone for 2 weeks and not really be too concerned. Maybe that this entrance again might be a little bit too big because it's a bit too ventilated. I'd actually rather have just a flat board, a flat inner cover, not really an inner cover there, but just a flat board, and with the hole drilled just like a couple inches below the top of that, so they can still get ventilation and they can still get out, but the heat doesn't just directly come out of that. But still, they've also got an inner cover hole behind there, and ventilation is coming out through this thing, and it's all going outside anyway. So it's not really, the most well-heated hive, but I don't think it has to be. It just has to be warm enough so that they don't freeze to death. And this one, again, this one is, other than the fact that they're up top, there's something funky going on. I should have checked them before the winter, just to see how much honey they had down here. It looked like they had a lot, but I didn't pull out every single frame, right? So, and now they're up top. I've got a honey super, or a medium super up top that I laid on top of this hive just before winter, and I had it because I put it on just because it had some extra frames, and so I gave that to them, thinking they'll eventually go up, but they went up to it right away, and so there's still honey down there, which is weird because there's there. Anyway, I hope they have enough sense to go down there, and I hope this bubble wrap does something to keep that, maybe, keep this section a little bit warm, and warm enough so that they can easily break cluster and walk down and get the honey that's down there, because I'm pretty sure there's honey down there. That's the only concern that I have, really. But otherwise, this is the DE hive setup, and gotta say I like it. I'm not a fan of the cost of it, but I like it in that the bees are dry, they're warm enough, and if that's the only thing I need to keep on my hive in the summer and the winter, like I don't have to do anything else, no wrap, no nothing, no wicking material or anything like that. Just put this thing on all winter and summer and call it done. That's fantastic. I would love that. And here we go. I think we got an ATV coming down the road here. This used to be all woods, but now it's progress, and all this area here next to the farm is being cleared to make some plastic suburb, probably. Yeah, it's a snowmobile. Hooray! Hooray for noise. Anyhow, so this hive is doing all right. I don't mind it. I just hope that whatever's going on that's causing them to go up, I hope they have enough sense to go back down too, because I'm pretty sure there's lots of honey down there. So anyway, so that's it. I just wanted to check on these hives today because we've got some crappy weather coming. And it's going to be snow and rain and all kinds of mess. And I just wanted to make sure they had everything they needed for the next couple of weeks. So this one's good. That one, I gave them some sugar. They're okay, but not 100%. But I think they're good enough. They'll make it for 2 weeks for sure, no doubt. But yeah, I might have to make some bricks just to keep them going. I'm dumping in this dried sugar right now, but it's not the best. I'd rather have big solid hunks of sugar that I can easily just slide over the top bars. There's some bees down here that this bottom was getting full of dead bees again, and so I just took the mesh off and scraped them out. Wasn't completely clogged, and this hive they're not clogged at all, right? So it's interesting what's going on. Like, there are obviously bees are dying, but this hive, maybe the bees are dying, but they're falling, and I've seen this happen too, where the bees are clustered up top, and they gradually die, and they fall to the bottom, but they don't fall to the bottom, they get stuck between the frames on the way down. And so in the spring, you open up the hives, and all of a sudden you just got these big clumps of dead bees between the frames and the bottom box. But anyway, come spring, when the queen is laying and everything's fine and everybody's happy again, they'll be cleaning that all out like it's going out of style. Let's see if this bee is on the prowl looking for trouble, or if it's just getting out for a poop. Oh, it just pooped. It's pooped. Oh, look at that. Just pooped right on me. Get back in there, buddy. You want to go back in? There you go. And I just pulled the top off, and you can see they're clustering up top. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna staple some. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna staple up that hole so they can't get above it. I put some mesh over the top of that. But I think I'm going to flip this inner cover, because right now it's upside, what we normally call upside down. They don't have a top cover. They don't have a top entrance. They have. I gave them this, but I don't think they're going to use that for some reason. So I just stapled on that mesh there, and I've got little holes on the edge of my inner cover just for extra ventilation, and I can smell the alarm pheromone coming off these bees. These bees have always been defensive. They were cool all summer, but now that the winter's kicked in, they don't seem to be too happy. All right, I just took the top off of this hive, and I can see there's the sugar in there, and that's a brick of sugar, and I can see they're already eating that sugar. Yeah, I'm gonna light up my smoker because there they are down there. I could just drop the sugar right on top of them, but I don't do that. So I'm not exactly too happy about this. They really do seem to be clustering a bit too high, but they're dry. That's cool. So this is my DE hive setup. The only thing I don't have is this should be covered with mesh, and I thought I had some mesh with me. But otherwise, this DE hive, it's basically this rim, upside down rim, and this box, which creates some dead air space, but a little bit of ventilation there. I gotta say, those bees are dry as bone, man. Let's see if I can do this without getting stung. So I gave them a bit of smoke just to drive them out of the way, and there they are. And you can see, I can see, there's still quite a bit of honey in that hive. So they're doing pretty good. And now they have a top entrance. There. This hive is looking okay. They've got a top entrance now, and I don't have mesh covering my top entrances this year. I've got it on the bottom, but not on the top, because I just don't think shrews can get this high unless the snow is, unless they're buried in snow. I don't think shrews are going to be able to hop up and get in there. So I'm not going to worry about that. I don't see any signs of shrews either. I know what shrew tracks look like. I know what shrew poop looks like, and I know what bees that have been eaten by shrews look like, and I don't see any of that happening around here. When the bees are so intent on just clustering and staying alive, whenever you do something that disturbs them and causes them to break cluster, they're burning through honey, they're burning through energy, and it really disrupts the flow of everything that they're doing. And so it can take them a while to recover for something like this. This is why I don't know. The less I do in the winter, the happier I am. And the funny thing is, like, most of the things that I've done to this hive this winter, I could have completely just ignored it. I think they don't need sugar right now. They've got plenty of honey up top. They're clustering way down below for the longest time until I did something to screw it up. But anyway, otherwise, this hive has been fantastic. Really beautiful thing to behold when it works out well. And I'm reaching the point now with my beekeeping where I can usually tell how well they're going to do going into winter. Like I was 100% confident that this hive was in great shape going into winter, and it's in fabulous shape. It's in a really good shape. I think I can easily leave them alone for 2 weeks and not really be too concerned. Anyway, so that's it. I just wanted to check on these hives today because we've got some crappy weather coming, and it's going to be snow and rain and all kinds of mess, and I just wanted to make sure they had everything they needed for the next couple of weeks. So this one's good. That one, I gave them some sugar. They're okay, but I think they're good enough. They'll make it for 2 weeks for sure, no doubt.